Good evening, beautiful souls. I think I've got it right this time. I think I'm on my public Facebook wall rather than my heart circling group. And I just wanted to come on tonight quickly because I have been so full on creating lots of things for next year. A mentoring membership program and lots of downloads and activations, so it's really taken up an awful lot of my time and energy over the last few days, but it's been really incredibly huge amounts of fun. And that's really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about how when you start to access higher states of consciousness, when you start to wake up and see what's going on in the world and realize that in every now moment you have a choice whether to choose fear or love, something I was saying right in the beginning of this crazy situation that we're in at the moment on the planet. When you realize that you're a sovereign being and that you get to choose how to take care of your body, you get to choose how to respond to your thoughts and feelings, and that you can choose love over fear in any now moment. As you start to wake up from the deep sleep, and I just want to say really quickly that as we go in towards winter solstice on the 21st, we have a very fine line between the two worlds. So it's a really potent time now to connect with loved ones who are no longer here, and it's a very potent time to see the veil of illusion. So if you're ever going to start to wake up, seriously, now is the time, which is why we are being given the very contrast to love, which is fear. And the more powerful and dominant the fear out there is, the more actually it allows us to have the choice to choose love. So I've actually chosen now not to listen to anything, and I've invested all of my energy now into creating this new world, because what I'm finding really potent at the moment is the energy of connecting us together, to connecting the light workers together. And what I want you to know is that, okay, what is a light worker? So anyone whose soul came here, you may have felt the one who is a bit different to other people. You may have never quite fitted in. You might have felt that life is a bit strange and that the rules and the authority sorry, that's somebody calling me. I've just got rid of them. So if you're somebody who has never quite fitted in with society, you've questioned a lot, you've always felt that your life here or your mission or your purpose here is a lot more than the way that your parents might have put you through the education system. You might have gone into corporate job and just felt, this is not really who I am, this is not really me. It is very likely that you are a light worker, and with light workers there are many of us, and many people are waking up right now. So what happens when you start to wake up and start to ascend? You're going to have a really more and more powerful, strengthened connection to a desire, a longing to find your purpose in life, to find your passion in life. And as you start to step towards your passion and your purpose, you're going to really require some form of tribe, of community to support you in that. It's very difficult to do it on your own. So if you're in that place, I just want to say that we are slowly starting to come together. The light workers are coming together, and it's really time to choose whether you're going to get stuck on the merry-go-round of being angry and upset over what's going on, or if, like me, you know what's going on, you've always known what's going on, and it's time, it really is time, at whatever level of awareness you're at, to step up. Again, I've been saying this for the last 10 or 11 months, however long it's been now. And I know many of us light workers, literally after the first 2 weeks of what was going on in March, was it? Already we started to upgrade and step up and literally sort of walk into new territory we've never been to before in our own journeys of awakening. it's like sometimes the ego just has to get out of the way. Sometimes you have to drop all thoughts and ideas about what people might think about you, what people might say about you. They may not approve of you. Your children, your siblings, your parents might start to sort of question you and think you're getting even weirder. But sometimes, or always actually, when you're a light worker and when your soul is calling you on a mission, there comes a point where you have to literally just acknowledge all the thoughts, all the judgments, and just head towards your purpose. And there are so many of us around at the moment. It's quite mind-blowing. Hi there, thanks for joining me. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to just read something that I put on my heart circling group, which was a transmission from Aurora Ray, the ambassador of the Galactic Federation, because it really is lovely, and it talks about the ascension of consciousness. So I'm just going to read it to you because it's just so lovely. This is the first time in the history of the universe that you as a species are ascending with your physical body. Dear ones, you must not forget that the great ascension of humanity is at hand, and that you should begin to prepare your body, mind and soul for this process. If you follow the news and world events, and I really want to be really clear about this, if you're following the world events, or if you're listening to any mainstream media, if you're finding that you're getting sucked in and it's not making you feel good, I really highly recommend that you stop watching and you stop listening, because as you start to wake up, your awareness is going to be so expanded that you will start to realize that the world that you have been living in your whole life has actually been a complete lie, a complete illusion. The structures, all of the institutions, whether it be the educational, the political, the pharmaceutical, everything you've been taught has come and been controlled from a very small minority of people that have a very, very dark agenda. Now, once you know this and once you wake up to this, it might be that you have been repeatedly, day in and day out, gone on demonstrations, repeating the same old thing, trying to wake people up. But actually, if like me, the people on your Facebook wall, if the majority of them are already realizing that, then all you're doing is repeating over and over and over to the same people. And there does come a point in this awakening, and where 21st of December is such a potent time for us to really step up and step into these higher frequencies. And if we're going to keep perpetuating the negativity, we know it's a lie. So we don't need to keep proving it over and over again, because all that's going to do is make you and all the other people who are trying to prove it over and over again feel really frustrated. There does come a point, there is coming a point, and I'm downloading so much at the moment, that we have to really create space for all this incredible light energy to come in, which is going to mean we have to go through our own transformations. We have to open our light bodies up more and more and more, and it's very difficult to have an open light body if you're just focused on the lies of the tyranny. We really know that already. So when we know that and we see what's happening, and we see in the streets all these people wearing masks. I was on Facebook for about 5 minutes today, and I just happened to come across something somebody had posted. It was probably somebody from the NHS or something, I don't know, one of those adverts. And then I got an email today from a petition I had signed saying about, it was a 28-year-old MP in London at the Houses of Parliament, and he was saying, listen to this, and this is the only thing I'm going to repeat that I heard today. A 28-year-old MP was addressing the House, and he was telling the House that don't worry, this vaccination, everyone's got to have it, it's so important, because you're going to be patriotic. Can you believe it? He actually used the word patriotic. He wanted us to be patriots of the UK by having this vaccination, so that everybody would have the vaccination. And there are all these conspiracy theories going on, and I listened to it, but I didn't get affected by it, because all I saw was the ignorance and the illusion of what the majority of people are still buying into. But I'm not speaking to those people. I'm speaking to you. And I'm speaking to those of you who have already started to wake up. You're already starting to see through the veil of illusion, the ego, the power and the control. that has been manipulating our planet for so many hundreds of years. And it really is time now that if you are starting to feel really irritated and upset and disconnected from your true self, it's time perhaps for you now to recognize, to know what's going on out there, but just shift your center of attention and your focus towards the light and towards you, your sovereign self, starting to step into these higher frequencies. Because what's going to happen is we cannot assist the rest of humanity in this planetary ascension whilst we're on the merry-go-round of talking about how shit and crap it is. Does that make sense? So at some stage you're going to wake up more and more and more, because the first step to awakening is to realise. In fact, let me just read to you the 3D. Here's the 3D. The 3D is ego association, which is basically fear. It's service to self. So if you're only concerned with you or your family and you can't see beyond you or you and your family, then you're very much in 3D. It's duality. It's polarization, left and right. It's good or bad. You know, there's no such thing. When we move into fifth dimension, we're going into oneness. There are beings from higher frequencies, from higher levels of consciousness, that literally, once we get to 5D, we don't have these polarizations, we don't have duality. What is, just is, and it's happening now, and there is no separation. Labels, you know, we don't need labels. As soon as you label something, as soon as you tell a child the name of a tree, that child will never see that tree again. So a child with its open eyes and just sees the wonderment, the awness of a tree. I've got tingles, I've got goosebumps. When we speak absolute truth, you will tingle, your skin will tingle. So just visualize a 2.5, 3-year-old just looking at a tree for the first time, eyes wide open. It sees magnificence, it sees branches and leaves, and it doesn't know the name of these things, it just sees it. And then the mother says, that's an oak tree. And the next time the child sees that tree, it doesn't actually see the tree before it, it sees the label of an oak tree. So one thing as a yoga teacher, that was the most important message through yoga, is presence, is being in the moment, is being in the eternal now. There's no other truth, there's nothing else, you know, there's nothing else other than now. Now is eternal, now and now and now. So labels are very, very much 3D. Status, 3D. Materialism, we know materialism's 3D. We know materialism is 3D. So if you're somebody who's worried about what the neighbours are thinking, or, you know, trying to keep up with the Joneses is a very British thing, or just wanting to have more stuff just to make you feel better, materialism, really, really 3D. Hard working is 3D. Believe it or not, hard working is third dimension. Because when you start to tap in, and this is one of the things I'm going to be really focused on in my mentorship in 2021, is really showing how you can achieve a lot by working less. The idea, the mentality of working hard to get results is an illusion. And sometimes we just have to lean back into our feminine energy, which we all have. We all have masculine and feminine. We've been brought up in a very, very masculine dominated world. But as soon as we drop into the feminine, drop into the heart, and just lean back and relax a little bit, you've probably seen it yourself in your own life. I used to wonder sometimes, years ago, why it was that I would really be struggling to get something. I'd be struggling to get somewhere. I'd work like crazy. I'd work, opened up another Pilates studio, work, teach. And then sometimes, like when I had my chronic fatigue, because I had PSTD really, really badly, and it was always on the days when I was at home doing nothing, which were very rare days. But there was one thing I always noticed, and that was that I would be chilling, you know, just sort of shuffling around, pottering. I started really realising that pottering was very, very good for me. And out of the blue, somebody incredible would phone me. We would have a magical conversation. I would start to get incredible ideas, and the flow state started to happen. You can't get into flow state when you're in your head being busy. So that's a whole nother subject. So hard working is very much third dimensional. Linear thinking, fear, lower emotions. So all of the emotions that are in fear, resentment, jealousy, anger, bitterness, all of those low vibration energies and emotions are very, very third dimension. And that is actually what the mainstream media and your governments and all the people that are pulling all the strings, they are literally, I say rubbing their things together. I don't know if they're rubbing their hands together at the moment, although of course the amount of money that's going to be coming through from these vaccines is going to be very, very, very beneficial. Thank you very much. But the light always wins, and that's why it's so important that if you have been on the merry-go-round of getting angry, you've already woken up, you're already waking up, you already see what's going on. My words will not be speaking to those who are still asleep, because you are already resonating by tuning in and being here with me now if you're listening to my words. So if you're already starting to wake up and you are finding that you are on the merry-go-round, because I know that I gained a lot of new Facebook friends when I needed the support, because I knew what was going on and I was so angry and in rage about what was happening, that I got a lot of new Facebook friends. So I do know that quite a few people who are fairly new to me and my work may have connected with me because we connected at that level. So I guess I'm speaking to some of you now. If you can identify with that, I was just putting out the possibility for your own potential to raising your awareness even more and literally moving more and more into who you really are. And as you move more and more into that fifth dimension, you are going to be wanting to give your gift to the world. You are wanting to find your purpose and your passion, because those two go hand in hand. You will start to feel better. You will start to radiate more. Your eyes will start to glisten. You will welcome all emotions, but not be attached to all the negative stuff that pulls you down. It's not just about positive thinking. It's not about positive thinking. It's being aware and allowing yourself to feel. There is so much. I've been doing this work for so long, and this is what I'm going to be really, really, really stepping up in 2021 to support you, because my purpose and my passion in life is to support other people in finding their purpose and passion in life. It's just an ongoing, and you will be the same. Once you start to raise your frequency, you're going to want to, you might remember that you loved singing, or you loved painting, or you loved dancing, or you wanted to learn how to play the piano. These are all the things that will happen as you start to raise your frequency. You won't any longer think, well, I'm not really worthy of that. So this whole awakening is actually about going inside and looking at all the things, all the belief systems, all the traumas stuck in your body that are holding you back from shining your light. Because your light, I am another you, cleverly disguised as me in Lakesh. We are one. And waking up and becoming aware, becoming enlightened, finding your bliss is actually about this realization, being self-realized that we are all one. That's what it's all about. Cause and effect, linear thinking, victim mentality. Wow, who has suffered with victim mentality? I certainly did. Even in my 40s, when a relationship would break down, that was it. I was chain smoking, I was drinking, I was literally self-loathing every morning. I was stuffing my face with packets of chocolate and packets of biscuits. Everything I teach, trust me, I have really, really, really experienced more than you could ever know. I've been there. And it's time to really see this time as the most magnificent opportunity for us to really, really step up and step into higher vibrations. Dense, slow, heavy energy, such as in hospitals. Hospitals carry very, very low, dense 3D frequencies. So let's look at 4D. What is fourth dimension? Fourth dimension is like the gateway between 3D and 5D. So you become more conscious, you become more expansive, you start to realise that everything you've been told in your life, actually you're starting to see the light, you're starting to realise that you have been programmed to be somebody who is not really you. You start to challenge old belief systems, you start to realise that actually the answers you've been seeking are not being met by the people who have been controlling you, met by people who are ruling and governing institutions or education systems. You start to question everything. You start to understand that structures and paradigms that we've been living in are actually not self-serving. They're not serving humanity, not self-serving, serving humanity. You'll have more compassion, you'll have more empathy. You'll start remembering who you really are and start to align more to your purpose. Synchronicity. I remember years ago a friend saying to me, the first way you start to really practice working with your intuition is to be driving around and ask the angels for that parking space. But the miracle is that it works. It absolutely works. So you start to manifest more quickly, and you just feel more connected to nature. You want to be out more and more in nature. And then we have 5D unity conscious. So I think most of people are transitioning now from, or most of the people who are here with me listening today, because if you're still very much stuck in 3D, you won't know what the hell I'm talking about. And we all know lots and lots of those people, and we send them absolute love and compassion. So unity consciousness, you start to really align with divinity. You're feeling heart-centered. You're learning how to speak from the heart and not from the ego, something that I do in my heart circles. Very, very profound, deep work. You start to connect to your purpose, and you look for like-minded people or mentors or courses that support you in realizing your purpose in life, and you find absolute joy and flow in your day-to-day life. That doesn't mean shit doesn't hit the fan, because when you're on this path, actually, I did mean to say, I've got a best-selling Amazon book called The Middle-Aged Goddess Playbook. There's a lot of really good tips in there. If anyone's after a late Christmas present, I might put a link down below. But shit will always hit the fan. So as soon as you think, oh, you're starting to wake up, the universe will very cleverly put a situation in front of you to challenge you to see if you really are waking up, or if you're going to go bang right back into old patterns. It was interesting. I had one last night, actually, because I've been keto for the last couple of weeks again. My stomach has been so happy, because I have a inflammatory disease that I'm meant to be on medication for, but of course I'm not on medication. I'm well, I'm healthy, but I do have a disease, and I went keto for 2 weeks, and my stomach has been so happy. And then a friend of mine, I was around her house the other day, and she was giving me a foot massage, and I was hungry, and she brought out this cauliflower-based pizza, and she cooked it for me, and it was absolutely delicious. And she said it was from Sainsbury's. So when I was in Sainsbury's the other day, I asked them for this cauliflower-based pizza, and they said, well, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So I found a vegan pizza. Now, I'm not vegan. And I looked at the ingredients, and it was gluten-free, but it had a few ingredients there that were carbs. And I thought, well, you know what? I haven't had pizza for a long time. I don't eat pizza. And I thought, well, it won't hurt me, you know. And so I ate this pizza last night, this vegan pizza. And I know that vegan food generally in the supermarket is extremely unhealthy. And I woke up this morning with stomach ache. So when I say about you will start to be more conscious of not going back into old habits, I have now at this grand old age got to the stage where I can have an off night, have the stomach ache, and today I'm back on keto because I've learnt those lessons. And yet when you're starting to wake up, You know, you might be starting to drink less, for example, and you might have not had a drink for 3 or 4 weeks. I know they do this, what is it, November thing, or dry January, or whatever they call it. And, you know, it might be that you fall off the wagon with certain addictions. You might not even classify them as addictions. But as you start to awaken, you will find that these addictive behaviours happen less and less. For me, that has been one of the most amazing benefits, I think, of going through an awakening over the last years. So you become in service to others, and you're more focused on your purpose. You're more authentic. Your frequency is much higher. You're in the flow state, as I said earlier, and you're more wanting to share unconditionally. So you're not choosing to think, well, I'm going to share that with you and share. You're more transparent. You're just happy to share and be open. And you become a co-creator as well. So a really important one to remember is that co-creating is really part of this whole new paradigm, is that no longer it's going to be each man out for himself. It's not going to be about power and control. So these systems are breaking down. This new 5th dimensional vibration, this 5th higher frequency that we're moving into, we're on the cusp of, it's happening. If you want to be part of it, you've got to realize that it's your responsibility now to raise your own vibration and stop staying on the treadmill of anger, resentment, complaining, pissed offness, all of that shit, because you can keep on getting yourself in that state, not feeling good, getting so angry and upset because you see through the veil of illusion that actually then you're not allowing yourself to vibrate at a higher frequency. And it is that higher frequency that we need to pull as many people on board with, because at the end of the day, ultimately, this planet, we are going to ascend and pull all of our human brothers and sisters up with us as we shine our own lights. I just really want to pass that message on tonight, that it is your own light shining brightly. And you may start to find this week in particular that you are almost hardly recognizing who you are. Don't be frightened to change. Don't be frightened to let go of the bank of your security as you flow down that stream, because we're actually flowing upstream. We're flowing into a new paradigm, a new heaven on earth. This may take a long, long time. We are at the beginning of the most incredible transformation that we will ever experience again. And we are literally the front line on this awakening, and we are very privileged. We must really use and honor this. We must honor the energy that has been birthed, that we have been given. We chose. The soul came here. We chose to be here. If you are resonating with my words, you may be feeling really tearful, alive, tingly. You know who you are. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, morning, day, wherever you are. And I will connect with you again tomorrow. And if you're not in my heart circling group, please come over, because that's the place where I'm putting out more of this kind of content, because I don't want to be stuck around a lot of the negative energy. I know what's going on. You know what's going on. Keep going to your demonstrations, keep going to your protests, keep putting out there what's going on. But you'll probably find that the ones who already know it are the ones that are reading it, and then you're just going around in circle and circle, and you're actually starting to close down the portals of light energy that are coming into your system to help all of our human brothers and sisters ascend. That was one hell of a long sentence. Big love, and in Lakesh.